Welcome back to Best of Three, an esports podcast spectacular by Organized Gaming. I'm StillJustMike, and with me today are my two dapper co-hosts. On my right, hailing from parts unknown, weighing in at numbers unknown, and with a total APM of 46, it's Chizzy, it's the @Uncredible Hulk, it's Alex. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And on my left, he has been affectionately referred to on television as the esports homie.
Oh, God.
He's a creative, a videographer, a photographer, and a friend. It's Stevan Petrusic. Welcome to the show.
Stevan Petrusic.
Stevan. There we go. I can't believe I got the first name wrong.
Esports homie.
The esports homie.
It's okay. At least you didn't say Stevan, because people do say that, and that kills me.
With a PH?
No, Van. Stevan.
Like Stevan.
Yeah, Stefan.
No, doesn't have a PH
Stefan
in it
is
either.
better than Stevan.
All right.
It's like, come on.
Guys, if you're one of the many new listeners who caught our Twitch Rivals episode, welcome. It's good to have you. A little follow-up on the Twitch Rivals stuff from last week. I took a look today on what's been added since then. I think we've seen 2 more Apex Legends tournaments, and that was already like the top, right?
Yeah.
We've had 1 more League of Legends tournament. We've had 1 more StarCraft tournament, and we finally got a Fortnite, guys. Fortnite alert. Fortnite is on Twitch Rivals, and guess what the prize pool is?
It's probably huge.
$30 million.
Thank you for doing that. No.
It's probably like $100K.
Well, actually, it's 4 times that. It's $400,000.
$400.
For a Twitch Rivals event.
Because the other Twitch Rivals, they were at like 20,
10.
You sit at
20,
home.
like,
You sit at home. You press play, and you get $400,000.
That's it.
That's massive.
You stream some Fortnite. You win. Can you imagine how many 12-year-olds are actually going to be competing in this? There's so many streaming youngins, right?
Really?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, definitely.
For sure.
It's the thing
especially
to do
for
now.
Fortnite, yeah.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. I didn't know that there were like children streaming and stuff.
Totally.
It's definitely.
Is that part of? Is that cool with Twitch's policy? Because
I
I
don't
know
know.
there were like issues with people's like.
It's 13. If you're 13 and under, you can't stream. So
On this show, we don't expect you to know everything or anything about esports. We're going to zoom.
We don't.
No, we don't. Exactly. But we are going to zoom out
I don't know
far
anything
enough.
about anything.
Exactly, right? We are going to zoom out far enough for everybody to understand. And then we're going to center in on the finer points that even some of the more informed people might not know about. We won't leave you alone. So today we're going to be talking about TI9. Let's start
TI9
with the big facts.
I can
Guys,
talk about TI9 until I die.
I bet you can. So let's do that. What is TI? Just the internet, just the international.
Oh God.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Steven, you want this
A
one?
movement.
No, I won't get in now, because if I start now, we ain't leaving till like tomorrow. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So TI is essentially the World Championships of Dota,
Right.
put on by the developers Valve. There you go.
Just the way that came out was so funny to me. Put on by the developers, Valve.
Valve. They're the
Valve.
developers. So they put it on, and it's the biggest tournament of the year for
Yeah,
Dota.
it is. Not just for Dota, for everything.
For esports.
Actually, yeah, it is the
Not even
biggest
just
esports tournament.
Mhm.
for literally everything.
Sports, traditional sports included. It has the largest prize pool anywhere.
Really?
Anywhere.
And what is that prize pool this year?
over 33 million. It's still going up. So
And it's gonna
That's
keep
true.
going. If LGD wins, I feel like people are gonna dump money into it before the battle pass goes away, because the battle pass always stays for a bit. It like lingers. And there's always been like a traditional thing where if the East wins, battle pass grows. Just like
well,
there's support.
yeah, definitely. I mean, they're some of the biggest spenders on the compendium itself.
Yeah.
But maybe we'll get into that a little bit on how the prize pool is collected.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So each of the there are 18 teams who show up at TI.
Yeah.
After majors and minors and stuff that we're all going to get into.
And only one team stays.
Only one team survives. Of those 18, the
like a battle
17th,
royale.
yeah, as it is right now with the 33 million, the 17th and 18th will be seeing 82,000. So the people who come 17th and 18th.
All you got to do is qualify.
Which
There
is
you go.
really peanuts compared to the actual prize pool.
Even what's
It
compared
is,
to,
but it isn't.
yeah,
Like we said earlier, right? The winner of Evo got what?
$30,000.
And it's like, dude, all you got to do is qualify for TI, and you're making like triple.
yeah.
that's
It's crazy.
That's it. Well, I mean, that's for a team, right? So you split that among 5 people.
That's
Top
true.
16 after that. Well, if you come in 16th place, I should say, you get 495K.
Big jump.
So that's a huge jump. And then it goes up incrementally until
So all you
get,
got to do is beat the little suckers below you. You know, you got to
Basically.
qualify and then not be last.
Basically.
You're like, please God, let me at least beat 2 of these guys. Everybody's walking home with $100,000.
So 16th, everyone walks home with 100K. What do you get for first place?
First place
Steven?
gets, do you know?
Do you know?
It's like 13 right now, right?
It's close. It's 15 right now.
15.
Yeah.
15 million.
And
Yeah,
it's
it
going to
jumped
go
up.
up. And it's
Jumped
going
up
to
big
go
time.
up. That's
Yeah.
amazing. They
I
get half of
love-
the prize pool.
I love that about Dota.
Mm.
There aren't a lot of prize pools that do that where the first place is like huge.
Mhm.
And I love that Dota does that. It's like you want to win TI.
Yeah.
$15 million. What do
Mhm.
you do with $15 million?
That's like, you it's like toilet paper money.
Yeah, it's true. Dude, it's crazy. Like, even last year, what was it, 11?
For first place?
Yeah, it was like 11 or 12.
I think it was like 11 or 12, something like that.
It's crazy, man. Everybody walks home with $2 million
Mm-hmm.
for playing a game.
Okay, so Steven, then tell us how the prize pool is $33 million.
Well, there's this great thing called Battle Pass.
Mm.
All right. So every year, this thing comes out a few months before TI, and everybody dumps their money into it.
And there we go.
No,
So
and
I
there's
think
a reason for it.
I think Valve starts the prize pool at about $3 million.
Yeah.
So they'll start it at $3 million.
Well, they used to start it at 1.
So now 3, and so 25% of all the money that's put into the battle pass is added to the prize pool.
Yeah.
So
And there's a lot of great awards, like rewards, sorry, that come with the Battle Pass. I mean, you can level it just by playing, and Valve does a really good job of being fair about that. Like, they give you all these quests and cool things to do every day or week to fulfill, and then slowly grow your Battle Pass. Or you can just pay to get to certain rewards, and the rewards are pretty cool. Like, they keep adding these cool new effects, sets or costumes, I should say, for the characters.
Oh yeah, those sets, and all of them are a lot of them are exclusive to TI, right? So if you don't get that compendium, you're not going to get those items unless you buy them second.
Yeah, and they're not
Yeah.
tradable or whatever, or at least for a year, I think they
Yeah.
capped it off at. And then they have the new thing, which is like the Invoker persona, which is something they did only this year, where now they're kind of changing the hero entirely. Like, now you're playing as Invoker as a child instead of just regular Invoker with a costume.
Yeah,
Does that
really
actually
cool.
change how he plays?
It doesn't change his skills and stuff, but it changes his character model completely.
Oh,
All of his sounds, all of his
voice lines, everything changes, right?
Yeah.
So he's
Yeah.
a kid.
is he
and now
harder to
one of
click?
his, I don't know. That's a great
Oh.
question, and that's what I thought about as well. I don't know if he is harder to click or not, because I do know that the Rubik Arcana makes Rubik bigger and easier to click.
Oh, wow.
And Omar complains about that nonstop.
Wow.
Which is a guy that I play with a lot.
Yeah.
Good old fish.
So one thing that I was looking up while I was taking my notes was how you qualify for TI. Let's say I'm a burgeoning new team and I want to get it. I want to make it big. I want to get that 15 million. How do you place? And so what I found was that you have to compete in major or and minor tournaments.
Yeah.
Do you know
That's
much about that? Yeah.
One way to get into TI.
Mm.
Another way is just to get 4 homies and playing the qualifier.
Sure.
So basically, all you have to do is qualify, which
Mm-hmm.
there's 2 spots in every region but SEA.
Yeah. There's 6 spots total.
It's like 2 NA, 1 South American, 1 SEA,
mhm.
2 Asian,
And 2 Europe.
2 Europe,
Yeah.
something like that.
Mm.
How many was that?
That's a lot. I think that's 8.
Yeah.
There's something
sorry,
with the numbers.
maybe top 10 from DPC got invited, and then maybe 8 spots to qualify, something along
No, you
those
said
lines.
I think it is something
you said
like that.
DPC twice. Now what's that?
Sorry, DPC is the Dota Pro Circuit.
There it is. So those are the points.
Yes, so DPC, the Pro Circuit is the regular season, if you will, of Dota, and it all culminates into this international tournament, right?
Yeah.
So you play the circuit all year you rack up points, and the top, I believe, 10 teams or 12 teams with the most points gets to direct invite into TI.
I see.
And if you win 2 majors, you're automatically qualified, I think it is.
No.
Did they change that too?
Well, you just get a lot of points.
I think there's a certain amount of like if you win 2 majors, you have enough points to get into TI.
Oh, is that it?
That may be the case. That it may just be the way that they designed that, but I don't think it's a hard rule. If you win 2 majors, you automatically.
Oh, it's not a hard rule, but I think the points. That's kind of how the points are set out to be.
Right.
Mm.
So there's the majors and the minors, and those all have regional qualifiers as well.
Yeah.
So you can qualify through different regions, NA, Europe, Asia,
And then obviously
South
some teams are just
America,
invited too.
and Southeast Asia. Yeah. So depending on the tournament, there's some invites, but there's a mandatory regional qualifiers that take place for the DPC.
Okay.
So any of the majors or minors. And you can qualify, get in through those tournaments, collect your DPC points, and get invited to TI.
The nice thing too is that majors and minors, they are cash prize. Like you do get
Definitely
prizing for them. In fact, all of the major tournaments, they're like
They
based
start
on
off
1
at $1 million,
right?
Yeah.
Which is amazing. You can get like $200,000 each for just winning a major.
That's the
major
total
tournament?
prize pool. It's not the
I see,
grand
I see,
prize. No.
right.
But still, if it follows the same kind of model as TI, right? Like TI, you're getting about half your prize
I
pool.
think
for
right
first.
away it's 800,000 for first place, or
Is that right?
600,000, something like that. I think they.
That drops off hard
Yeah.
after first place. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on the tournaments too, right?
But
Because
all of those have battle passes, and all of those get crowdfunded anyway.
they do not have battle passes. Have you been? You're like 2 years behind, man. Or 3 years? That's like 3 years
But
ago.
they did have battle passes.
They did not. That was like 3 years ago.
Yeah, but 3 years ago they did.
Yeah, they did. So that was when they only had 4 majors a year and then TI. So they had a battle pass for each one. But now I think there's something like in the range of like 12 major and minor tournaments that lead up to TI.
Oh, wow.
So there is not a battle pass for each one. There's just a battle pass for TI. It's the only one that's crowdfunded.
The majors have something though, don't they?
They do not.
Oh, so it has been a while, I
Not
guess.
anymore. huh?
Yeah. So there is a minimum prize pool for majors and minors to be qualified for a major and minor. But yeah, you have to go through Valve for all of those things. So any tournament organizers out there that want to be a Dota major or a minor, you have to go through Valve, and you have to have like a $300,000 prize pool. So
And so if you don't want to go through Valve, then you go to the open qualifiers. Is that what I'm understanding?
sorry, as a tournament organizer.
As a tournament organizer.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you wanted to be considered a major or minor, but any
I
Valve
see.
does not put on these majors or minors themselves. They are put on by
just
other
approve them.
third parties.
Valve doesn't do anything themselves.
Yeah.
That's the thing about Valve. They have people do it for them.
Very hands off.
Yeah. Incredibly. Okay, so tell me a little bit more about the open qualifiers. What do you have to do for those?
You just play, literally.
You just play.
Yeah, you get 4 other homies, and then you play through the qualifiers. And depending on how many people, sign up, you got to beat them all. And you have to get to at least second place. So
And those are hosted by other places as well.
that's hosted by Valve.
Those are hosted by Valve as well. Oh, okay.
Yeah, if you're talking about TI's open qualifiers,
Those are hosted by Valve.
that's hosted by Valve. If you're talking about the major ones, that's hosted by whoever is hosting those
Whoever
majors
wants
or
to.
minors. Yeah.
So the reason open qualifiers are brutal is because they are single elimination. You lose one, you go home.
All the way
Oh.
till the end, until it's the semis or finals that are best of threes, something like that.
I'm not quite. I thought
It's either up to
it was a
quarters.
single elimination all the way through.
It's not all the way through.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I think the finals have a BO3.
Okay.
It's either the final, semi, and quarter, or it's just finals, something like that. But it's not BO1 all the way through.
Okay. So, well, until you get near the end of the qualifiers, they're going to be all best of ones, and depending on how many teams try to qualify for that tournament, you could be playing, like.
And it's like an all day thing for like 2 or 3 days. Like if you sweat your way through the whole thing, you're looking at like an 8-hour day every day.
So it's like a mini TI.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah,
Open
it's
qualifiers
exhausting.
are grueling, brutal things.
I've played in open
Definitely.
qualifiers and I got pretty far. That was a few years ago, and it's a grueling experience.
Didn't you guys almost compete in something before?
We did.
What was that for?
Yeah, so that was WSG. WSG. We were playing for the Canadian Championship so that we could represent Canada in China, where they were playing for $5 million. So yeah, had we won, we would have gone to China and played for that.
Was that one a
really
major?
Cool.
The China one?
No. It was not actually. It was a completely different system altogether outside of the DPC. So it's the World Esports Games, WSG. And that's their own system, their own league circuit, everything. So,
interesting.
Yeah.
And then you guys got disqualified on a technicality or something, right?
One of our players was not a Canadian citizen. And
tough.
he did not communicate that.
He was he
didn't
definitely
communicate
lived
it.
in Canada. He was an international student, and we that caught us off guard a little bit, a lot.
I lost it.
I remember that. That's why I remember. Like you guys were mad about that.
I lost it.
Oh,
I
damn.
think I was the most frustrated.
So that was pretty sad. We made it very far. We made it into the LAN finals for the Canadian Championship, and we got disqualified. So that was
Very rough.
All right. Well, that sucks. I'm gonna bring it back to TI for a second here.
Yeah.
I want to know, is there anything that's been interesting going on with TI so far? I mean, you guys have probably been watching it a lot more intently than I have. Steven, you've like kind of changed your sleep schedule.
I live in Chinatown now.
You live in Chinatown.
And it's rough. Like I will say that it is really hard.
They're 12 hours ahead of us, so they're playing in the day. Like
They start at 10 p.m.
Yeah,
our time,
and then they go till
10
a.m.
9 or 10
something.
a.m.
Yeah,
which would have been fine about 3 or 4 weeks ago when I was already on that schedule. But I very recently started going to bed at 8:30 p.m. and waking up at 6 a.m.
Yeah, you made a big point about like correcting yourself.
Yeah, I did. And I was like going strong for like 7 or 8 days, and I felt pretty good about it. And then TI started. And the first night TI started, I was like, oh man, it's like 9:30 and the opening ceremony is going on. And then I just got drawn in up until like 6 or 7 a.m. where I couldn't take it anymore and I passed out. Very worth it. But now my schedule has been flipped. And what really sucks is that every day I can't seem to make it to the last game. As soon as the last game starts, I pass out. So last night I missed OGEG,
That's
or I should
tough.
say this morning.
Yes.
And it was like the only game I really wanted to watch. So I went to bed.
No, it's easier to sleep and wake up early for the OGEG game. That's what I did.
Yeah, but then you miss everything else. Like you miss Dota Dads.
Yeah.
Slacks making really bad Techies mug.
The Techies mug was great. That was great.
good.
The Techies mug was good.
So there are a lot of interesting things going on at TI right
I
now.
want that mug.
The personalities are there every year. We have a new panel, which is kind of cool to see the new talent and everybody come together. A lot of big upsets going on right now. Some teams in the upper bracket that have gone down to the losers that we wouldn't have thought. Some teams getting eliminated that we wouldn't have really thought of.
Well, so let's break that down a little bit. One team that kind of it's making me sad a little bit. They placed first in the DPC circuit. They've placed first in points throughout the season. Team Secret.
Team Secret.
They were doing really well in the season, but as anybody who's played at TI will tell you, TI
It's a different beast.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what happened before. Anything can happen.
Oh, I see.
And they're not able to keep it up. They don't have the same oomph that they had in the season.
You can see it in the booth too. Like the way that they're playing, their emotions, everything's getting to them. They almost got eliminated to Mineski.
Yeah, that
very
was
close.
And that should have been a complete stomp. So
every game was really close. Like it looks like Mineski's winning Dota from beginning all the way to the end, and then all of a sudden Secret wins, and you're like, oof. And you can see when Secret leaves the booth that they don't feel good about their win.
Yeah,
because every win that they got was like kind of
cheesy.
Yeah,
it was super cheesy.
They had to just really fight it out. Really, drag through the mud.
So there's their Secret.
Who
VP.
else? Oh, VP.
Yeah, that was rough.
Really rough. They were eliminated very early on.
Alliance got eliminated. And funny story about Alliance getting eliminated is they accidentally picked Gyrocopter when they wanted to ban it.
Right.
No.
That's how they got eliminated.
Big oops.
Oh, no.
Big oops there.
Big oops right there.
So it looked like it was going to go well for them, actually. It looked like it was going to go decent, and then it didn't.
Wow.
They were doing pretty well, too.
That's
the new Alliance stack is pretty dope. Happy to see them play. Loda is a coach now, ex-TI winner of TI3. And now he's coaching and I guess helping to manage Alliance a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So it's cool to see him put back passion into the team that got him a TI winning.
So let's go to OG and EG. That's a storyline everyone's following.
That's like the only storyline anyone cares about. You have like OG, EG, and then PSG, LGD. That's it.
Yeah, so I would say, and then Secret was up there. Vici was also doing very well. I thought they went in very strong, and they sort of fell to the lower bracket.
I was actually worried for PSG, LGD when I saw them going up against VG up until I watched the games. Yeah, because VG was looking really good. They were in the upper bracket.
So this is the first TI in China, and there is a slew of Chinese teams. There's so many Chinese teams, and the fans are the loudest. They're the most passionate. The Chinese fans, Dota fans, are crazy. So their first TI at home, and they're really rooting for a Chinese team. I think LGD is sort of the fan favorite that most of the people are rooting for. But Vici was there as well.
I think VG is like a very close second.
Yeah. And then the other Chinese teams there's Keen, there's Newbie.
Yeah. Wait, Newbie's not
Royal Never Give Up.
Newbie's a Chinese organization. The team is not Chinese.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
So they're not getting a lot of love right now, but
they're not. And something I will say that's really interesting about TI in China is the crowd gets really loud for the Chinese games, and they're not so loud for everything else.
Well, I mean, from our experience, like they're not there for everything else. They leave the auditorium.
They literally show up for the Chinese games.
That's all they care about. It's
and like that's cool. You know, you got to give it to them because they're out there and they're representing their country. But it's just crazy that some of these other games that are getting played are really, really good Dota games, and there's just not the hype around them as much as the Chinese. Like as soon as like VG versus PSG LGD was so loud, like it was ridiculous. You could barely hear the casters because it's just like screaming nonstop.
Oh, honestly though, Chinese fans are the best.
They're the best.
They're the best. They go so hard for their teams, and they will empty their wallets for their teams, and they support
and then they'll
really
get disappointed.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry. Do you want to give us a quick cliff notes on EG and OG? Cliff notes.
Okay, so huge rivalry. It's basically like two best friends on opposite teams, and this has been going on for ever since TI8. Just because Fly left OG, and Fly and No-Tail were like best friends. Fly was the previous captain on OG. His girlfriend was the manager of OG. He started OG with No-Tail, and then he left right before TI8 last year to play on EG. And it was like a big upset. It kind of left OG in shambles. And then No-Tail was like, okay, screw it. I'm going to make my own stack and then go into TI. And eventually they met at, I think the semifinals in
it was,
the winner's bracket.
Yeah, it was upper bracket finals, something like that.
Yeah. And then OG destroyed them, to say it lightly. And you could see the rivalry. Like, there wasn't very much camaraderie. Everybody looked really upset, and just in the booths and everything. And then OG, goes to win TI8. And now
we saw the same thing again.
Same thing. Literally the same thing. But I will say there was a little bit more camaraderie. No-Tail and Fly did high five in game. So, so there is that going for them.
OG sent EG to the lower bracket again. And then
From
we're
where
going to
we are right
see
now.
another rematch of PSG LGD versus OG.
In the upper bracket. I'm
In the upper
so
bracket, so-
excited to
This
see.
is TI8.
Yeah.
We're in TI8 right
We're
now.
in TI8
Well,
for the OG, EG, PSG, LGD timeline.
The rest of TI is very different, but those three teams it's a repeat of last year, and it's really crazy. So
If
Crazy.
PSG, LGD beats OG in the upper bracket, it will literally be a repeat. But I have a really good feeling that OG will beat them and go to the grand finals. It's tough to say, though, because I think that OG is a better best of 5 team than a best of 3.
I will say that by the time this podcast comes out, we'll have actually known who wins. So you're
Right.
technically placing your bets right now because we're
I put all my money on OG.
Yeah.
yeah, I'll put this podcast on OG.
there. You go. Oh.
And it doesn't get released on Monday.
We sold the podcast,
Go
guys.
OG. Go OG. Go OG.
PSG, LGD owns best of 3 now.
Oh no. We're gonna be replaced by 3 Chinese guys.
I'd be surprised. Like right now, even in the interviews, PSG LGD says that OG has turned into a monster. They're very hard to deal with. They have their own kind of freestyle draft thing going on.
Yeah.
They don't care what the enemy team picks. They're literally playing their own game, and they're playing the psychological game too, which is really cool to see in Dota. Funny note that they were talking about in TI as well is that the psychological game has changed since TI1. In TI1, it was like a booth, and they were like right across from each other. And Navi won because they were like very psychological. That every time they got a kill, they would stand up and scream at the enemy team. They would bang on the tables because even the vibrations would go to the booth in front of them. So if you were like banging, the other team would like shake and stuff. And Dendy was talking about how, because he was on the panel, and he won TI1, I should say,
Right.
to kind of get everyone caught up to speed. He was talking about how it's funny that OG is doing basically that, but in game.
Right.
Where
right.
instead of like banging on the table so the enemy team hears it, and right now I'm assuming that all the teams have muted each other because of this all chat stuff.
Right.
OG's like, okay, you want to mute me? I'm going to do stuff that you can't mute. So they changed their sprays to the loser spray, and they're spraying in like the enemy's fountain, and they're like high-fiving them and putting down banners, and they'll all change their pictures so that the banners look the same, and it's like to get in their heads.
So that's an interesting topic, but we can get back to that.
Yeah, we'll get back to that. We'll circle back to that one. So that was TI9. So guys, we're going to go take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to get a little deeper into the team aspect of TI or Dota in general, and what it takes to become a superstar on
I can't
the
wait
pro
till
level.
we're back.
Oh yeah, all that and more when we come back.
Are we back yet?
I miss us already.
Oh, I need these breaks so badly. Holy shit. That one cough just saved my life.
So post break is tier 2 Dota is dying.
Yeah.
Do you really think that?
Tier 2 Dota?
Yeah.
It's so hard.
I think there are problems with it. Now that I've kind of educated myself a little bit on it, it's
I don't think it's dying. I think there's some really good tier 2 teams.
How do they make money and make it to tier 1?
Well, the tier 2 teams do play in minors and stuff. There are so many tournaments that the tier 1 teams don't play in all of them. And some of the tier 1 teams like Secret will refuse to play in like really small tournaments and stuff because they don't want people to see what they're doing.
Right.
Teams like Secret also refuse to scrim other teams unless you're like on their black book or whatever, I guess.
Move your mic up a little bit.
My mic?
Yeah. So that it's facing you. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
Yeah,
Cool.
I don't think tier 2 Dota's dying.
Tier 2 Dota is fucked, man. Everything is TI. It's TI or nothing. Like, look at how much money did they make? Like, okay, so you make 82K for 17th, 18th. Imagine being a low placing in like a minor. You're going to make like 5K between 5 people.
Get good, man. I don't know what to tell you. Fuck. I don't think it's dying. I just think
No, okay. I don't want
there's
to.
no middle. There's no middle
Let's not
class.
call it. Let's not call it dying. It's just there's no that middle class is disappearing, and you're either nothing or you're everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a pretty good analogy that I read, and I'm going to talk about it in a little bit. So I'm just going to welcome them back.
But I mean, like 16th place gets $500K. You're still making bank, bro.
16th
it's just
place
you
gets
can't-
$500K.
At TI.
16th place, yeah, that's true. That's true.
Like, I wouldn't say that it's dying. I would say that you have to.
At TI, yeah, but not outside.
Let's
of
not call it dying. Let's say
it's struggling.
yeah.
I would say
let's
it's
say
struggling.
tier 2. Let's just say it's hard to be a tier 2 team. Yeah.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Yeah.
I'll just be the one to play devil's advocate on that topic.
Go for it. Honestly, yeah, that sounds good. Hey, Patreon, what's up? All right. So I'm gonna clap twice, and then I'm gonna welcome them back. Welcome back, guys. I have a confession. We have a Patreon. We do. On our
God.
Patreon, we offer full uncut versions of our podcast, which includes an extra Patreon topic
How
that
could
we
we?
reserve just for you.
How could we do this?
How could we do this? The Mad Lads. It's the best place that you can go to support us in these early episodes. And you can believe that we'll remember and appreciate you for it. So,
God knows we need it.
oh God, yes, we need it. We're struggling. We're on thin ice, guys.
We're like 3 carry players. All we need is some support.
Right there. That's the
Right there.
analogy.
That's it. Anyway, guys, just go to patreon.com/BO3podcast and sign up for monthly donations if you have the means. It really helps us out.
I'll be waiting for you there. Please come.
It's true. Hey, where are you right now?
I'm literally at Patreon waiting for your support.
He's over in the Patreon village. He's shouting from way back there.
It's literally just a lemonade stand that says Patreon on it, and I'm just there
That's cool.
waiting for you guys.
Hey, how about you come join us?
I can't.
Oh, he's
I'm
busy.
still waiting
He's
for the
still-
supporters.
All right, guys, I have another confession to make.
All right.
I want merch. I do. I just want to put our stamp on something. And
Right.
maybe that means we make stamps. But I
Yeah.
don't know. I mean, we can do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. But what do you guys think we should make for merch?
Oh, I would love to have merch.
Yeah, what do you want to make?
Oh,
Something
so
unique.
many
Something
things.
unique. Okay.
Not a t-shirt.
What do you mean? Nobody makes t-shirts.
You know
What's
what?
a t-shirt?
You know what? Maybe you're onto something.
Yeah.
Let's make t-shirts.
Oh. Guys, what should we make?
There's all kinds of cool stuff we can make. Like even stuff like branded cables would be really cool.
Branded cables.
Yeah,
What do you mean?
USB cables or like
Interesting.
yeah, I would love
Ashtrays.
ashtray. Yes, I need one of those. OG ashtray.
I just think we need to think about what people do when they're listening to stuff.
Okay.
So maybe like a best of 3 towel.
Oh.
Dry you off from your morning shower. Maybe you're listening to us in the shower. You know, you get in the shower, you use your Bluetooth speaker, listen to some BO3, or you're in your car. What do you need in your car? I don't know, like one of those phone stand things.
Ooh,
that'd be cool.
Ooh.
Oh.
Yeah.
There's a thing. So I mean, clearly
Phone
we're all full of bad ideas. So
Yeah. That's what we do over here.
if you have a suggestion for merch, you the listener, for merch that we should make, please, I beg of you, because I can't get ideas from these guys. Email bo3@organizedgaming.co and give us your suggestions.
What do you mean? I'm all ideas.
He is. Oh, he is. we want to hear what you think. Trust me. So, Stevan, how about you come join us back from Patreon land, and we'll dive into some more TI. Does that sound good?
All right, I'm coming.
Oh, he's
over.
back. Oh, welcome back.
Thank you.
Hey, Steven,
All
we
right, let's
missed
move
you.
on. I want to touch on some pro level teams next. More specifically, the tier system, the stuff directly under the super pros. Alex, I think you know a bit about this. So again, let's zoom out a bit and let's have you explain what tiers are in pro level esports.
So you have the teams that consistently make it to TI.
Mhm.
They're winning, hundreds of thousands of dollars every year.
Yeah.
The best of the best, you call those the tier 1. Everyone who's playing at the international level, those are tier 1 teams, typically.
Mm-hmm.
And then tier
Keeps
2,
looking at me. I don't know why.
tier 2, you have the teams that are just slightly under that are making it into the majors and minors. They're making it to the minors and majors,
Mhm.
and they're trying to crack their way up into that top 18 teams that make it to TI.
Yes.
So maybe your top 25 team or something like that. That would make you like a tier 2 team, and then there's the tier 3 teams that are trying to make it into the qualifiers of the majors and minors, but they can't quite get there. So you're like, I guess you're definitely a good team, but to get on that sort of pro stage, even at a lower level, I would consider that a tier 3.
And then underneath that are all the casual players.
Yeah, I'd be like a tier 27. Yeah.
Was there a time where you would consider yourself tier 3?
No, there was not.
Was there a time where you would consider yourself tier 3?
Definitely. I think I was a tier 2 player. Yeah, I had a tier 2 team, Roots Gaming. We got pretty far in the qualifier of TI 4.
Oh.
Yeah,
cool.
While ago, long time ago. I was very good, and I had a good team. I had a really good team.
What happened?
We fell apart. It's what the thing is, and everybody talks about it with any Dota. It's the egos and personalities, and commitment is too hard, and all this other stuff. We had a sponsorship deal, and people didn't want to stream, so we lost that. Yeah, very similar to when Eternal Envy was talking about how he picked up everyone's streaming numbers to stay sponsored. I think it was when he was on Cloud9. I felt that way too. Just trying to pick up everyone's Slack and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just hard in NA. It's really hard in NA finding a group of dudes that want to just do it like OG.
Well, yeah, right. So that's actually
well, OG's considered a European team, no?
They are considered a European team.
Yes.
And I think that they're very unique, as they are just a group of friends who think that they're playing Dota, and they're just doing it really well.
So I actually came across this Twitter rant from Rasmus Blomden, Chessie.
Oh yeah.
There you go. He's a Swedish pro player. He's most famously, he used to play for a team called Complexity Gaming, which now he plays for a team called the Final
COL.
Tribe. Yeah. He was saying on his Twitter rant that it's a lot harder for tier 2 teams to compete just because the prize pooling isn't all that big. And you read this too.
Yeah.
Like what else?
Well, okay, so he's made like $500,000 to $600,000 in prize money over the course of his career, and he was saying like this year or last year he's only made $17,000.
And this isn't even just like
it's
him.
not.
This is his teams that he was on.
No, this was him personally.
This was just him.
This was him personally.
That's what
but
he took home.
Yeah, so this is what he took home, and he's complaining it's not sustainable.
Right.
As a tier 2 team, how do you live on $17,000 a year?
Mm-hmm.
You get better.
So this was him making $17,000, and he had moved to NA, which is widely considered a much weaker region and
North
easier.
America.
Yeah, North America, which is easier to win it in. The Dota teams are a lot stronger in Europe or Asia. North America tends to be a weaker region. So he moved to the weaker region, and still he only made $17,000 as a tier 2 player.
And to his credit, he's not doing poorly in these tournaments either. Like he's coming in second or third.
Yes.
He's just not getting much to show for it.
Yes.
I would argue that he's not doing well enough.
And that's what he said too. He said that, it can be said that I'm not doing well enough, but it still stands to reason that the issue is that anybody who isn't winning all the time is like fighting an unwinnable battle. Like they're not able to sustain their career as pro players if they're not constantly winning.
Right. So I think a lot of the sort of controversy around this topic is that there's so much focus on TI and there's not enough focus elsewhere. With like sort of the DPC prizing, the sort of majors and minor prizing, or even just like a lower tiered league or lower tiered tournament where they can play at. And sort of there's no bridge. There's no bridge to sort of make that gap, that leap into tier 1. It's really tough as a tier 2 team.
So it seems like now to Alex and I at least that tier 2 Dota is kind of struggling right now. It's in kind of a weird spot because like I should mention this too. I had found a rather interesting image online posted by, and I wrote this down here, Reddit user L Steamer. He visualized the tier system as kind of a mountain. And that makes sense, right? Because on the bottom, you've got your third tier people who are just trying to climb up. There are a lot more of them than there are tier 2. There are a lot more of them than there are tier 1. You go further up the mountain, there are less people in that, second tier category. Those people are all, fighting the good fight, trying to get up to that top tier. But there's only so much to go around. And then when you go up a little bit further, you've got your tier 1, and there's not a hell of a lot of room up there at all. And it's just those people who are
up
there
there
to compete.
Know how to breathe at a high altitude.
There you go. Oh, look at you. We can keep this going for a long time, actually. I would say that it illustrates the point very well, because the problem that we're finding with tier 2 and tier 3 is there aren't a lot of resources to keep people going. So the fact that, you go halfway up the mountain and there is no rest stop, there is no, concession stand for you to pick up some extra stuff for your journey.
Yeah.
You have nowhere to go but down if you don't find some way to catapult yourself all the way to the top.
Definitely. So, I mean, and these are sort of the pitfalls with an open sort of circuit, tournament circuit,
Sure.
as opposed to something like League of Legends or Overwatch that have a closed circuit system, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot more stable and sustainable for the teams that are sort of in those leagues. And then they have development leagues underneath as well, where they also receive some stable income that they could sort of grind and make their way up to the sort of pro level.
Right.
Yeah.
I have this very opposite view to this topic.
I know you do.
Where I think it's better to have it the way that Dota does it. I don't like complacency, and I think that if you give a tier 3 or tier 2 team kind of like a stable income, and they don't have to win, and they don't need the hunger to keep winning, that they're going to stay there. I think it forces you to become a tier 1 team, and I love that, because when you do get to TI, you're seeing the best Dota. You're seeing like masterminds come together and people at the highest skill and everything. You're not watching something, and I hate to say this, like OWL, where there's 1 or 2 teams that are crazy and the rest are kind of whatever, and they're all getting just rolled.
Yeah.
At least at TI, you're seeing big hitters like Virtus Pro going down early. You're seeing people like, what's her name? RNG Gaming?
Royal Never Give Up. Yep.
Yeah, they're killing it. And you're like, who the hell is this team? You're seeing Mineski doing really well. You're seeing these, I would say, tier 2 teams that are killing it at TI. And I love that because, you have your heavy hitters, EG, PSG, LGD, OG, and OG honestly considered an underdog even today, right? Yep. And now they're still killing it. Like, they're still doing well. And I love that. I love that you have to really come together as a team. I think the difference between a tier 1 team and a tier 2 team is the team itself and not the skill. I think there has to be some sort of cohesion with the way that they play.
And I think that's the issue, right? Is how do you navigate that tier 2 level to make it onto a tier 1 team? It's so tough. It's not sustainable. You can't stick around.
I think it comes with patience, and I think it comes with the hard work. I don't like the thought of a team that didn't try as hard as all the other teams making it to a tournament like TI.
I understand that for TI, right? But I think in the grand scheme of Dota, there is definitely a place for tier 2 teams, and that's something that PPD. PPD is a pro player in Dota. What team is he on? He's on NIP now.
Yeah.
So Ninjas in Pajamas. So he created the North American Dota 2 League, which is essentially a league for tier 2 teams. So if
because only tier 2 teams live in NA.
So he saw the whole sort of in the Dota scene where NA was weak and also tier 2 is also struggling. So he tried to fill that gap and tried to create sort of a bridge into the pros. So he created a North American tier 2 league. Sorry, it wasn't a league. It's more of a tournament.
It was a league, and now it's kind of morphed into a tournament in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
you do play for points and
I
stuff,
think,
though.
I think those are the types of things that there needs to be more of that so that there are more tier 2 players and more talent for the tier 1 teams to really look at and pick up.
So I'm not opposed to more tournaments and more leagues and stuff like that. I just don't think that we should be supporting teams that aren't trying as hard. Because when
it's not necessarily us. I think Valve should be fostering sort of these teams and nurturing these teams to come up so that there's a wider pool of talent. I'm afraid that if it keeps going this down this path, that you're going to lose playership, and there's going to be a huge gap at the top of the skilled players, and then there's going to be no nurturing of future talent, and that talent pool is going to dry up.
I think it's part of Valve's culture.
It's
very much
also
a sink or swim culture. You're either really good at what you do and you can stay and you will be supported and you'll be loved and nurtured, or you drown and nobody's there to help you. Like,
doesn't
you
that
need
also create a culture where eventually everybody sinks?
I don't know.
I mean, it's always going to be this revolving door of who's like flavor of the month, right? You're going to have people who either have a very successful career for themselves and then fall off a cliff and then aren't making any money for themselves at all. Or you're going to have people who are just constantly going up and knocking everybody else out until there's new competition replacing them. Not because they're bad, but because there is just such a demand to knock out this one team that's in first and is constantly in first.
The amount of
but there's never been a team that's always in first. That's what I'm saying. I love this.
Okay, listen. Okay, the amount of resources it takes to even compete in the DPC is going to be crazy. You have to be playing all the time. Hold up. You have to be playing all the time, right? Even to go through those open qualifiers, you need to practice every day. You need your team to be together, and you all need to be committed, and that means that you all need to be getting paid.
I think even if they get paid, they won't be committed, and that's what I'm worried about.
Listen.
Esports and stuff like that where people are getting
the number of regional qualifier spots in sort of these large tournaments has been being reduced further and further.
Yeah, because there's more teams being invited and
exactly
there's less qualifiers. Yeah,
I see.
In order to be a team that really makes it, the overall amount of money that you need to sustain the DPC to even try to earn enough points is going to cost a lot of money. Let alone, okay, so you don't have a lot of money. Maybe you have a crazy talented team and you want to go through open qualifiers. They're limiting those open qualifier spots more and more every year. And it's getting harder and harder to qualify that way. It's making it so that you have to have money to be able to qualify.
So maybe they do it where there are less invited teams and there are more qualifying spots.
But that's not the trend though. It's actually going the other way, right? Yeah. So they're making it so more teams that compete in the DPC can get invited to TI, but to sustain a whole DPC season costs so much money. So I just feel like it's really hurting that tier 2 system. Valve needs to do something to support them so that they can get through the system and just try. There's some light at the end of the tunnel for them. Yeah. Those are my thoughts.
That's fine. I think that's a good place to.
I have this competitive spirit in me. I don't know. I think that I
think it's a lot easier to look at it from this point of view and say that. But if you're stuck in that tier 2 situation, I think you'd be singing a different tune.
Yeah, but if you're stuck in it, I don't know. I don't think I would be. Like, if I lose, I know why I lost. You know what I mean? If I can't make it, there's a reason why I can't make it. There's a reason. It's not like, I didn't make it because I didn't make enough this year. I think that's BS.
Yeah, but you have five players that need to play and practice. They need to play in the tournaments, and on top of that, they need to practice and go through all the qualifiers and everything. You have to have 5 players who somehow are making a passive income so that they can play Dota.
I would argue against that because you look at TI 1, 2, and 3, right? You had those documentaries like the True Sight documentaries of Fear and how he got kicked out of his mom's place and was playing on like a garbage monitor and setup, and he made it to TI.
You're looking at TI 1. It's TI 9 now, man. The times have changed.
It's not. It's if anything, you have
the DPC didn't even exist then.
Yeah, but now you have access to better equipment for cheaper. You have access to internet for cheaper. You know, it's more supported. Like, you actually have a scene that you can tell your parents, like, hey, this is what I'm doing. Look at what there is to win. So how are you not going to support me?
So you're saying
or your girlfriend or your partner or whatever. You're like, hey, I want to take off 6 months to do this.
So you're saying that the onus is on more so on the players to invest in themselves to make it to that tier 1, and
I think
it's
so.
not on Valve.
I think so. I think if you're doing that in anything in life, that's what it's going to take. I mean, if you want to start a business, what are you going to do? You're going to be like, oh, the government won't support me? No, you're going to strap on your bootstraps, and you're going to grab your gun and you're going to go. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, there's place to complain about those types of governing bodies, right? I mean, if Canada was super unfriendly to start new businesses because of tax laws or whatever, then, you know, there's room to complain about that and make it better so that it's easier to start a business.
I don't think it's fair to say that, you know, it should be less competitive or this or that. Like,
I'd never said it should be less competitive. I think they just need to create a structure for the tier two sort of.
They need support.
Yeah, they need support. And you see all the other the esports getting that support for their tier 2 teams.
But then you start to see this lazy trend. You have these teams, and I really don't want to go into this, but
we're just gonna go back and forth on this the whole time.
But you know what I'm talking about.
I do know what you're saying.
Like, people at home refusing to go practice with their teams because they know a paycheck's coming, or going to that venue to practice isn't as important, even though my sponsor wants me to do it, or this or that, because they know who they are and they know that they've got a guaranteed check coming in every day, even though like they're good. And then they'll go to a tournament and lose because they haven't been doing those things. But even though they lose, they're still getting supported. It's like, oh, look at all this like opportunity for me, even though I don't have to try for it. That's what I don't like. I want to see blood, sweat, and tears. I want to see like the best of the best. And there has to be a reason you go to TI. Okay. Or like any big tournament, like majors, minors. Come on. If you're not that good, then like you're not, and you don't deserve to be there, in my opinion.
I think we've heard a good amount from Alex. I think we've heard a good amount from Stevan.
And I'm sorry.
No, you know what? We're gonna leave this to the listeners, guys. If you have any opinions about this kind of thing, you can send in an email to bo3@organizedgaming.co
before things get heated.
Yeah, before things go too far.
just let us know, what you think.
These microphones.
Let us know that Stevan is wrong, and that
I'm told that a lot. So if that's the case, then I'll be okay with it.
I mean, that's the thing, right? Like, maybe we're just not thinking of something here, and that's what the listeners can decide. But anyway, we're gonna move on. We're running out of time, but if you want to hear more from us, plus our Patreon topic for today, again, head to patreon.com/bo3podcast to go and check that out. Guys, we're coming up on the end here, and I want to thank my co-hosts, Alex and Stevan. Guys, it's always a pleasure.
I was hoping I'd get a little response there, but I just went running all by myself.
Chat wheel spam is real.
Oh my god, Seb! Do you guys have anything to plug? Where can people find you?
Oh, you can find me on Instagram @uncrediblehulk. I'm very uncredible.
It's true.
And you can find me on Instagram @Stevan Petrusic or @Player2. Just want to see some cool creative stuff. Come check me out.
And you can find me @StillJustMike on Instagram, and I'll let you know all the other places that you can find me there. I also want to thank Organized Gaming for helping to put this podcast on. Head to organizedgaming.co and check out some of the stuff we've been putting on lately. We're building out a BO3 section for you to check out our show notes on. That's under construction. That's coming soon. Last
I
thing.
got my hard hat on. I'm building it.
Oh yeah, no, you're on the way. Last thing, guys, we're looking for some theme songs here. If you can think, if you think that you can cut together a theme song that we can put on our podcast, go for it. You can submit your theme songs to bo3@organizedgaming.co. Same with merch.
We need an anthem.
Yes, right. We need an anthem. If you have any merch ideas, too,
I
you
will
can send those
stand
over.
every time the podcast starts to the anthem, and I'll hold up our BO3 flag, and I'll think of you as I salute it.
That's beautiful. And we'll save it as an Instagram story every single time, which, of course, you can follow at BO3 Podcast.
So make it happen. I want an anthem.
Mm-hmm. All right.
You need a haircut is what you need.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
So
I hate you guys.
All right. Let's get out of here. Thanks for listening, everybody. Drive safe.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Drive safe.
Yeah, you might be driving.
get home
Drive
safe.
safe. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. See you.
Walk safe.